This discussion is decentralisation. How can it support women and minorities? And we have a fantastic panel who are going to share their insights and what they're doing. We have 18 minutes to do it. So Whitney, you have the microphone. Go ahead with the introduction.
Sure. I have ADHD, so hopefully if I speak too fast, just tell me to stop. So yeah, I am founder of Omniverse Agency. It's a Web3 content marketing agency. I have about 7 years in tech marketing in particular, historically in blockchain, but now we use the word Web3 in the metaverse. I also am founder of Crypto Sessions, and that is an education platform for newcomers and beginners to the space. So this is not for crypto natives, this is for people like your mom, your dad, your nan, who, have no idea what NFT is or no idea, what DeFi is. So yeah, that's me.
Hi everyone, I'm Laolu. I am the Chief Operations Officer at Neo Group, and we're an organization that seeks to empower Black women and help them get into tech, and that also includes Web3. We've been doing that for about 5 years now, and for us, it's really important that we see women that look like us as producers and pioneers and builders in this space. So that's really what we do. We run boot camps, we also building a DApp, and we've also ventured into hair and beauty and AR technology.
And you're multi-award winning.
And we're multi-award winning.
Hi, I'm Leah. I'm the artist and founder behind Power of Women. So at Power of Women, we create artwork inspired by the women in our community. We collect stories, we create artworks based on those stories, and generally those stories tend to be sort of from and by underrepresented voices. So things like to do with cultural identity, to do with motherhood, anything to do with womanhood. And we basically create art inspired by that. Usually we partner with a charity, so we use the Power of Women platform to highlight sort of the good work that charities are doing. And I guess basically that's it. Today we're launching a collection with Man City Football Club.
Yes, well,
50% is going to City in the Community, which is Man City's official charity, basically making safe spaces for girls to play football and sort of create, a better, a healthier living and mental health and well-being.
Amazing. So we kick off with, what does decentralization mean to you? So for me, the thing that I came down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, and quick introduction, I came into the space in 2017. I recognized that we have the ability to reevaluate what we do in the world, where we flow money and how we organize ourselves. And I didn't want to see women left out of a technological wave, a generational transference of wealth. And so I set up the bigger pie to be able to support the incredible women who are in the space. And then I recognized that the women aren't getting the funding. So as Lauren was talking about, these unicorns have yet to be built. Why aren't we seeing women at the helm? Well, you all have the ideas, you have the application, but VCs aren't giving you their money. So we need to be able to correct and change that. And that's what we do with the 200 billion club. But what I find is really interesting for the technology and how I came into it is that it means, and forgive me for those who are new, it's peer-to-peer, which means that you and I can choose to transact. We don't need a company in between to say whether we can or we can't. And we can do that across borders. So we can now choose to say, and we can do that without permission. So we can now choose to say, I value what you're doing, and I want to contribute to what you're doing. And everyone else can, whatever their opinions, can stay out of it. So there's lots of good that can be done in that. Women across the world have less access to capital, finance, funding. They do more heavy lifting. And so that's where I see the distributed element of blockchain and Web3 is actually we don't need the same permissions as before. That's what it means to me. What does it mean to Whitney? You have the microwave?
Sure. I've always been obsessed with value, like how much these things really cost. Am I getting scammed? And then I realized with a lot of things, there's always a middleman involved, which was kind of taking away some of that value. So Uber, LinkedIn jobs, Indeed, all of that stuff. So the decentralization to me means removing that middleman and actually just exchanging value for what it is. And for me, I was just tired of women having to make their own spaces for everything. Like, why do we need to have a female, diamonds, like females car insurance, females this, female why can't we just exist as part of the same systems and structures as everybody else? So for things for me to be decentralized means that we all have, equity, the same power, the same rights, the same voice, and the same opportunity to, have our self-represented in a room. So yeah, that's decentralization for me.
Nice. So my perspective as an artist is that basically it's control. I have control over everything that I do. I have control over the artwork that I create, what I say with my artwork, how I say it. I have control over what I sell, how much I sell. And basically all of it goes to me and not to a gallerist, not to an agent. I do all of the work and I see that money coming to me. Also, royalties are part of the smart contract, so part of the NFTs. So the moment someone sells it on, I get 7% of the royalties. That's passive income. So if someone is benefiting from the fact that I, as an artist, provide value, I get a percentage of that. And one of the big things in the art world is provenance. Where are all the Van Goghs? I have no idea. Some of them are owned by private collectors, some of them are in museums. All of my artwork is on the blockchain. You can see my provenance. You can see what I sold it for. You can see what other people have sold my artwork for. And you can see how much money I've made, how much money my collectors have made. And that is immutable. That is there. It is a certificate that says, this is my artwork. This is not a fake. This is a certificate that says, this is a Leah Sam's artwork, a Power of Women artwork, and it's immutable. No one can say anything different. This isn't a fake. This isn't a, whatever it is. And you can see, if I raise in value, you can see my artwork raise in value. And that is on an immutable, provenance, which in the art world is incredible because, where are all these masterpieces? I don't know. So you've got to do some really heavy digging, but my provenance as an artist, you can see it, it's all there. So.
And immutable meaning that once it's agreed and put on the blockchain, it can't be changed.
I think for me, it's definitely about removing the triangle, this long sort of like tall triangle, and making things flat and giving everybody the opportunity to benefit from this space. And one of the things that I love is that kind of what Whitney and Leah mentioned is that we all can invest and almost get what we put in. And for me, that is what's the most important, because we pioneer women being producers in this space.
So that all sounds great in principle. What happened last year? So we know that the space is still filled with people who come into it not for the technology, not for the right reasons. We saw it was impossible to miss what happened with FTX. FTX didn't use any of the technology. They just decided that they would use an unregulated space to do what had been done in the traditional finance space in 2008. So it's very important that you understand, what does the technology mean? How do you recognize where the technology is working? I am not technical, so you don't have to do it and know how to code or understand any of that. But basically, what is a blockchain? What are nodes? What is decentralized? Why does it have to have multiple nodes, multiple eyes on what you're doing? So that then you can take 4 or 5, 6 principles and apply it to the things that you see. And it's wonderful to know that Lauren and Women Web 3 are supporting with that. I know that you've mentioned that as well, Whitney. There are lots of communities and resources out there. So what are you doing specifically? Now, Lauren said, and I agree with her completely, this is fine saying that we can all do this. There is a lot of free work done in Web 3. Hands up if you're one of the persons who's already doing quite a lot of work, Web 3 work for free. Okay. So yeah, a number of people putting their hands up. So that's great, but actually we need to get paid. So can we talk about how decentralized helps people to get paid? We've understood that you can hold on to some of the royalties that you have, some of the payment. We've understood that we don't necessarily have to pay a third party, but can you speak specifically about the projects that you're doing where we're seeing women getting paid or financed?
Absolutely. For us, a lot of our work is in the edtech space. So we spend a lot of time running boot camps and short courses, helping to inform women on these sort of things, and they are free. And one of the things that we talk about NFTs and being able to earn money, but there's also an opportunity for content creators and people to produce, especially when it comes into the VR space, because it's very much kind of like untreaded waters or an untreaded path that not many people are exploring. But people that are non-technical, which is the community of people that we target, we run boot camps to educate and inform them on how they can actually learn these skills and become content producers or contractors in this space and be able to earn money. So for us, a lot of the time, it's teaching the skill that would enable them to create an income for themselves. But there are also benefits like being able to sell your art and be able to earn money that way as well.
I'm not sure what that saying was about if you can't teach a man to fish or something like that, you can feed his family or something like that. Something about feeding a family and teaching him fish. But basically, for me, in this space, it's all about the education and so I don't work for free. This whole concept exists in Web 2. Anytime someone demands that you work for free, they do see your value. They're just trying to take advantage of you. So for me, any money that I make from life is about reinvesting it into, helping women and marginalized groups overcome imposter syndrome. So they know what the value of their skills are, how they can monetize themselves and sell their skills. In a past life, for example, I used to be a makeup artist. I did a lot of free beauty work for brands who, they were fleecing us. And then Black Lives Matter happened and they used us as a campaign. And then as soon as Black Lives Matter wasn't relevant anymore, no Black content creators were being booked anymore. And I was super disenfranchised with not just the beauty industry, but then the whole capitalism, society as a whole. And that shouldn't be how life is. So for me, in terms of how much people can make money from that, is know what your skills are, know what you can sell, don't ever accept anything less than what you're worth, and do not be afraid of asking for more money. If anyone offers you a job, like a salary, always ask for 10 grand more. If you ever want to talk about negotiation and salary, talk to me separately. But I give this advice to women and to men and to everybody, because it's not just about empowering women, it's about empowering everybody. And once we empower everybody, then we can empower every single person. So I think, for me, it's just investing in yourself is where we can make the money here.
Leah, can we use you as a case study? Because you were an artist before Web3, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Then you had to upskill yourself, and then you had to sell what you were doing to Man City. That's no small feat. Would you mind spending a few minutes sort of walking us through what that journey looked like, so others might be able to be inspired?
Yeah, sure. So previous to illustrating, so pre-pandemic, I was a set and costume designer. And I think if you looked at all the work that I did, including the non-out of work moments, I was pretty much earning less than minimum wage. I lost all my work overnight during the pandemic. I decided to be an illustrator, but just because illustrating made me happy and it was empowering. I then discovered NFTs, and I was riding the wave of this sort of female-led bull run that we were having. Bull run being that we had this amazing market and everyone was buying from women artists, women projects. And I was able to basically make a living. I was able to also pay my husband, but until we could afford to build our team, and we were basically just working everything ourselves. We don't have a community manager, we don't have moderators, we don't have anyone other than me and my husband. And if we can pay for a moderator, we do. But generally, we do everything ourselves, because my motto has always been, don't ask for free work, because I don't want to be in that position as well. And we are now in a recession, in a bear market. And so we've just made do. So we just do everything that we can. I invest a lot of time into Power of Women, to building the brand. And I always, it's always about consistency. And it's that consistency of wanting to empower women, wanting better representation in artwork, better representation of a woman's story, because a lot of what women go through on a daily basis is not talked about. Things like breastfeeding, things like postpartum, things like cultural identity. I am consistent in terms of how I brand myself as Power of Women, what we are trying to do. And I think, that effort and that Herculean effort and graft to succeed is what caught Man City's eye. And, it benefits us both. Man City want to do incredible things on International Women's Day. They're doing incredible things in Greater Manchester. And in terms of diversity and representation, we have the same ethos. They have launched the Puma kit, which is a suffragette, inspired by the suffragette movement, which is, Kirst was based in, was from Man City, so Manchester. So, I think all of it aligned and all of it, persevered. And I think, not everyone is going to make it, that there's a term in Web3, it was like, we're all going to make it. not everyone's going to make it, but some of us who do work hard, who do the graft and persevere, have good branding, is consistent, I think you can succeed. But it requires a lot of work. And if you can lead the way and you know, pay people well when you can, and if you can't do the work yourself, then I think, you know, you can see success.
So I want to touch on something very quickly. In any emerging market, it's impossible to stay up with what's going on. We've got DeFi, you've got NFTs, you've got DLTs, you've got enterprise, and then now all of a sudden we've got generative AI in the mix. So do not feel as though you need to keep up with everything. And do not feel as though you have to work 24/7 all the time, because I see that a lot in Web3. I'm 50 years old. I can't do that anymore. I can't be the digital nomad that runs around to every conference. That's fine, just because those people might be more visible, just because that's what you see. Make sure that you understand that you're here for a marathon. And there is a lot more conversation now, and even at events, talking about meditation, talking about self-health, talking about making sure that your battery is always full. So I would definitely recommend joining communities that keep your battery full. You'll find multiple ones. They might be on a subject matter. They might be more your tribe in terms of culture. They might be more your tribe in terms of where you're at in the industry. And that would be wonderful to do. Can we have one? That's my takeaway for everyone, especially those who put their hand up as new. And you don't need a permission. You don't need any permission. You know, you can be the leader, just to step up and do. So what would be each of your takeaways?
So after what you said, I'm getting a bit hormonal, upset, emotional. There's so many incredible women in Web3 who are mothers, first and foremost, and to juggle, you know, trying to build something, not just for themselves and other women, while trying to balance raising a kid and giving that kid everything they need. They're doing, it's just, we just need to, you know, give them their flowers while they're here. My last take would be, if you feel like you have a skill, you have something valuable to give to the world, build it, do it, seek help, build a network, educate yourself. The best investment you can ever make is in yourself. That's priceless, and never ever stop investing in yourself, basically.
My little takeaway is a call to action. If you have a business, please consider having a diverse team. Are you considering women as candidates? Do women have the skills that you are looking for? Do people from underrepresented groups have the skills that you're looking for? And if you don't have a business, be a connector. If you're in Web3, it's all about community. So find people who are doing amazing things, find women who are doing amazing things, keep a note of who they are. Find people who are from underrepresented groups who are doing things, who don't have a bigger voice as you do. Be the connector. If you see an opportunity, it's not that hard to send a really quick DM and say, hey, do you know that this is happening? I really think
time. DM.
You know, I really think that you can benefit from this opportunity. So be a connector, and everyone can do this. So yeah.
And sign up for the playbook.
Yeah, definitely. Also, stay curious, join a community, and don't let the male dominance in this industry intimidate you, because we've got a full room full of women that are interested, and let that stir you. Because for me, I'm always thinking about, okay, how do I pay this forward? How do I tell 3 other women about what I've just discovered? And also share your process as you're learning, because people actually are interested in that. Like, we're in this world where we overshare almost everything, and people love learning about what you're learning about. So even if that's on Twitter or whatever platform you choose to do that on, share that process and share your learnings.
And if you ever find yourself as the only woman in the room, don't be intimidated. Treat it as like your USP. You have something there to offer and provide value of. So
Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate it.